Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing
Basketball. Here's our hosts, Steve Collins. And Bill Flitter.
A scoring zone, so let's call that the 3-point line. Let's be really active and be on the ball, and then we try to force or influence baseline. And so if you're going to get beat because this person is better than you, it's better for everybody else on our team to have an idea where that ball is going to go. Then that person is just able to decide wherever the hell they want to go. And so we want to say, okay, if that person's better than you, can you force them to your help to that guy in the corner that we know will be in the gap from there?
Yeah, and are you giving them space? Are you giving that player a little bit of space versus right on their face? You going like an arm's length away just to keep them contained and in front?
I subscribe to the idea that a lot of times people are either selfish or they are not well trained at making the right read. And so I want to force that defender to put their head down and be like, okay, I'm getting pressured. I need to go to the rim. And we've talked about at practices, no layups, right? So when that person's going like this, a lot of times our secondary defender or our third level defender is going to be able to stop them, get a steal, deflection, take a charge. Now, if that player is good enough to make those right reads, and they've proven that they're not just going to put their head down and shoot terrible shots, okay, now I would then give them space. Just to be like, all right, keep them in front and pray that they don't make jump shots.
Yeah. So again, you're going back to what you talked about in the beginning, which is we're going to, in the scoring zone, right? We're going to pressure that particular player because I trust my help and my, and my other rotations if it has to go through the third level. But I'm going to put pressure on that player that's a little bit better than me and force him into a help situation.
Yep.
Yeah. And getting down into the details of that, if you split, if you got center, you split the court right down the middle. If the offense is on the right-hand side of the court as you're facing them, are you forcing them, I guess it would be to their left, and you kind of splitting, and then if they're on the other side, then you're forcing them to their right? Is that how you're kind of splitting into the situation?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not the type that's going to open our hips up and say, okay, you're leading them to the baseline.
You're not. Okay. Yeah.
We want to be we say squared up, but with your nose on the inside shoulder. And so it's giving you a little bit of an advantage to make them not be able to go middle, but we want to try to force them. Yeah. If they're on the left side, to go downhill to their left hand. So we know our rotations from there. Same with the right side. But then when you spoke about lock left, if there's somebody who, whether it's a fourth grader or a varsity level high school player, that we're like, oh, wow, we're realizing they're dominating us getting downhill to their left hand, we can lock right. So even if you're on that left wing, if you're guarding Bill, we're going to lock right on him. So you can force middle there. And we're
that would be pretty smart strategy,
principles Say it again.
I said that would be a pretty smart strategy against me. I'm left-handed.
There you go. There you go. It's all about doing the scouting work, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and I think a lot of times, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, you've come across this too, and I love the way you really talked about the three layers. You got layer one, how I'm envisioning it, it's the one-on-one. Layer two is your help, and then the third layer is, helping the helper. And as we think about our defensive strategy as coaches, right? A lot of times we focus on that one-on-one and maybe the help, but then not helping the helper. I think that's where it kind of falls off, and especially at the youth level. But if we change our philosophy and say, no, defense is one unit, but it does have three levels, right? They got to penetrate. They have to penetrate these three layers in order to get to that basket. And if we kind of change that thinking, that philosophy, that also might change our outcome on the defensive side. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and to your point, if they score, then they made three right decisions. They found a way to get by the first defender. They
Hmm.
found a way to get by the second defender, and they found a way to get by the third defender. But if you're just all playing one on one, that's only one decision that they had have to make. And so just trying to make the offense make as many right decisions in a row to then get a high quality shot is ultimately the name of the game, especially at the youth level, because a lot of times I don't trust uh, their decision making and also their ability to make the right read three or four times yet. And so we're gonna try to force them to do that first.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Walk me through, and let's take it in a small chunk. So, I'm a third grade or fourth grade basketball coach. And I don't coach year round, right? I'm in a rec league or what have you, right? Local community league. Um, Number one thing I should focus on, or what your expectation that they should focus on the defensive side at that level.
I would say gap help would
Hmm.
be like the number one priority. You're you're not going to be able to help make them great athletes to guard the ball as much as possible, but are you giving
Hmm.
your best effort on the ball? We say max ball pressure, and that doesn't mean that your max and my max is the exact same, but
Right.
how much ball pressure can you provide in order for them to not just completely blow your doors off and get a layup? And so what is your max ball pressure?
Mm,
Provide that. And
hmm.
then my number one thing would be the next guys that are one pass away on either side, making them really good at being in the gap help. And
Yeah.
the terminology that we use is the bottom of the V. So if there's a person in the corner and a person on the wing, if there's and the offensive guys, if you drew the letter V from them, we want you kind of in that space there. So we
Yeah.
don't say on the line, up the line in denial. We try to be like in the gap, right there at the quote bottom of the V of those two players. So
Yeah. We call
gap
that
help.
51. You're halfway between the ball and your player, and then one step back. So, I'm yelling out 51, 51, right? And the
Yeah,
players
yeah,
know that,
like
okay,
it.
so very, as you know, in the game, it's like, get in the help or get in the gap. It's like, no,
Right.
51, mentally, right?
I like it.
Correlating that. Okay, let's go up. So now we're fifth, sixth. What do we focus on there? So we got gap help at the young. So now I got my gap down. Now what?
I think the next step would be when you are in gap help, and this is a philosophy thing for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
for sixth grade, seventh grade, and like the middle school like area,
Yeah.
they can
Okay.
now hit catch and shoot threes.
Yeah.
And so if I'm the secondary defender guarding the person in the corner and the person in the slot or the wing rips downhill to their right hand,
Hmm.
I don't want to just fully sell out to then make that sixth grader just make an easy pass to the corner for a catch and shoot 3-pointer. I would rather us stunt and try to dig at the
Mm-hmm.
ball and then
Yep.
get back and then trust that third level defender that's going to come. If they end up making a good move and getting all the way to the rim, then it's that third level defender. And so we say no strong side help. If they're driving towards
Oh,
you,
okay. Yeah.
too often guys think, "Oh, I'm helping." Yeah, you took away the help, but you also gave up the second worst thing that we want to do is a catch and shoot three. And so
Yeah.
if you're one pass away, you're in the gap, dissuading the drive. But as the drive comes, you're then faking and falling back to that guy in the corner, making them either shoot a pull-up jump shot, or if they get all the way to the rim, it's the third level defender.
Well, and this brings up a really good point because 101 ways to teach this game. So you're not get you have no help on ball side, right, or strong side. Uh, so if I am defending the ball, I get beat. The other way you could defend that is a peel switch, right? So
Mhm.
I now if I'm guarding you, you beat me downhill, help comes over, I then go pick up the defender that right again right it's whatever you teach and whatever you believe in. It's not that one's right or wrong, or where are the holes in a peel switch in that particular situation.
Yep. And I would just say, well, first off, are you going to try really hard and communicate? If you see it, I trust you and go do it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I thought he was going to get a wide open layup, so I went all the way to help. Okay, great. Just know that we're like our number one priority is no layups. And then our number two priority, if you can, is to take away that strong side help catch and shoot three. And
Hmm.
so like a lot of times, like pack line forces middle. There's a lot of really good stuff that you can get out of that. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just do we know our priorities, and then can you try to make those decisions in a split second time? And then as a coach, you have to trust that they're doing their absolute best to make those right choices, and they're gonna mess it up at times. And you have
Right.
to just
Yeah.
continue to believe in them and coach them up, and have them play to their full potential, knowing that the mistakes will be made.
Well, in that particular, so if there's two different coaches, one coach is, is you and you're teaching your, hey, we're not giving, we're fake and fade on help side, uh, or on ball side, because that's coach one philosophy, right? Where, we're now the third layer of defense has to come and stop that layup, right? Because
Yep.
we're staying in our player on the corner. Okay, so that's one philosophy. That's your philosophy. Second philosophy then is the peel off of that, pick up the guy in the corner, right? Because we stopped the help defense just stopped that layup, so the guy in the corner is wide open. So I peel off of you and go to that corner. Two different
Yep.
philosophies. Any thoughts? Like I said, 101 ways to teach the game, but do you see one better or worse, or it's just like stick with an idea and whatever you believe in, you believe in. It's either one is going to work. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want,
No,
your
I,
thoughts
I I
on that,
think
because that's where coaches get confused a lot. They see, well, he's doing this and I'm doing that, and the parents in the stands are saying, well, why aren't you doing appeal? You know what I mean? You know where that
yeah.
goes, right? And it's like then you start second guessing yourself. Like, I don't know. So.
My distinction would be a peel switch would be great
Mhm.
if the person who's guarding the ball got completely beat. Like they're no
Mm,
longer side to side. It
yeah.
is that they're now passed. That's a great opportunity to peel switch. I'm gonna take your person because you're the number one priority. Go get mine. But the fake and fall scenario fits if it's not a full on, I just got by the person guarding the ball. They just need a little help, a little second so they can try to get back in front. And so
Hmm.
that's where I would try to say, make this decision in the split moment. Do you think that the guy guarding the ball got completely beat? Then fully slide over,
Yeah.
and then we will jump over. But if not, then I want you just to jab and get back.
Okay. So, and I think that's to further that point is if your guy he just got beat, right? He's just behind, and it's it's either a layup or a three, and that help defender's got to make the choice. Is he going to stop the layup, right? Or is he going to come over and I'm assuming what you're saying is, okay, he's going to stop the layup, right? Yeah,
In
okay.
the
Because that's
NFL,
number
no
one.
layup.
Because that's number
Yeah.
one. Yeah, and number
Rule number
two is
one,
the
no
three.
layups.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. Because I think that's a lot of times too, where if you don't have a philosophy on defense or offense, or just philosophy in general, that's where those things are like, well, coach, you told me no layups, but I just gave up a three, or right, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, number one is number one is layups, number two is threes, we stop the layup, then stop the three next. So it's good I think that helps kids not get stuck in this paralysis mode and then they don't know what to do and they freeze. Decision number one, stop the layup, and then yeah, that's good. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I know we kind of hit that point hard, but I think it's a really important point and just general idea and general philosophies of how, we coaches sometimes overthink the game, but you've laid it out really simply. I appreciate that. Thank you. So let's get into let's just talk about we cannot bring this subject up bring this subject up and talk about defense without talking about zone at the youth level. So zone or no zone, and when do you teach a zone?
Especially at the elementary school level, I am super anti-zone.
Okay.
Here's why.
Yeah.
You're probably going to win more games playing a zone because third, fourth, fifth graders maybe aren't able to make threes at an efficient clip or make a skip pass but eventually you're going to be playing against people that can. And so again, under the philosophy of when we're coaching elementary and middle schoolers, we are trying to prepare them for success. And we think that preparing them for success is, do they have good man-to-man half-court defense concepts? And so we are okay with maybe losing a game that we would have won at times if we play more man than zone. But you have to be able to reckon with zone at some point, so we're not going to discount it. But the priority for us, like I never want to go into a PSP practice and we have somebody working on a 2-3 zone for 25 minutes. No. If you want to just, wow, like we're getting beat by this team and we need to adjust. Okay, like I'm okay with going to a zone, but we're going to continue to work day to day on our man-to-man principles.
What about full court press?
I would say preparing our guys, and we have our coaches clinic for our PSP guys, we say the price of admissions to an AAU tournament is a press break. You have to just be prepared. It's a fact of life.
Yeah.
Rule number one for other teams is, can we just physically impose ourselves on this other team and take the ball from them and shoot layups? And so you have to be prepared for that. Again, for us, I would say we always want to fall back on the half-court man-to-man defense. However, there are times that we will implement a full-court man or a run and jump, let's say out of a timeout, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other coach is going to draw up a play. We try to blow it up. There are situations for that, but we want the majority of time when you see a pro skills DC or pro skills basketball in general, we want you to be able to see half-court man-to-man defense of guys that are just playing hard and playing together.
Mm-hmm. So you're teaching a press, right? But it's more, you're going to be more of man-to-man style press, run and jump, or just straight up man-to-man.
For me, when I was coaching our fourth grade team, I never taught a press. We pressed at times. Hey, we're down by 8. Call timeout.
Yeah.
Set up 1-2-1-1. Hey, when they pass the ball here, let's trap and fly around. Like they can adjust and we'll see. But I would rather spend my time in practice helping them understand our defensive philosophy and getting them prepared of knowing how to play help defense and that type of stuff, because that's long-term benefits. If we lose a game by a couple possessions at fourth grade because we didn't understand how to, rotate out of a diamond press, okay.
What about speaking of trapping? Let's first talk about in a half-court set. There's obviously trapping defenses. There's right. Are you more surgical? When should you teach that? Start implementing traps? What are you looking for, especially at the grade school level?
Grade school level, I would say if they have one dominant player, which sometimes you may see, okay, they're only going to score 30 points this game and 20 are coming from number 4. All right. Well, whenever number 4 starts to go, we're going to send somebody, right? We want to get the ball out of their hand and we're going to scramble from there. I think if they set ball screens for that one number one player, great opportunity to trap the ball screen rather than, if you have a slower guy and they're setting ball screens and you're switching it or he's just attacking that hedge, that's bad news for us. So let's just go trap it out of a ball screen. And then out of timeouts or out of quarters or halves, when they start with the ball, hey, let's just start off with some energy. Let's risk it. Maybe they get a layup, maybe we do, but let's always start each new session with energy and effort.
Yeah. What about switching screens? Generally, generally speaking, like what's your philosophy? Do you switch? Do you stay? Do you try to, jump?
For most of my coaching situations,
Hmm.
I'm really open to switching on ball screens, but not off ball screens. In
Hmm.
my eyes, off ball screens are often that's just laziness to not like fight through, and it creates too many mismatches. But then on ball screens, if you switch it, it helps a ton with your backside rotations. You don't have to go in too much detail in how to, you just say, okay, switch. And then if a team is going to stop their offense, throw it back and walk their big guy down to try to post up one of our smaller guards, I'm okay with that. And I hope our little guards are able to fight like hell on that post up. So I would say I'm open to switching on ball, but we try to not switch off the ball unless it's an emergency situation.
Do you want to hear the most boring clinic that you could have for kids that I think is so needed?
I'm ready.
All how to guard and how to handle screens. That like I could literally, I think of about 3 hours worth of the material if that's all you did
Yeah, it does.
in a camp or a clinic, and how to defend and how to make reads off of it if you're on the offensive side. I mean, just think there's so many details and so many what if situations. Yeah, but I think I don't think that would sell out.
Yeah. I would shout out my college coach, Adam Hutchinson, you
Uh,
know, early on at Washington League. He said, these are the 8 screens that we're going to see. Back screen, flex screen, ball
hmm,
screen, right? Okay, here's how we're going to guard them. Unless we change via scout, here's how we're going to guard them. And so in the first 2 weeks of me playing college basketball, I had a concept of like, okay, we're going to lock and trail or we're not, or we're going to
hmm,
jump to the ball or we're not. And
yeah,
so I thought that was super, super helpful. And I had never really thought about it. There's only certain amount of types of screens that you're going to see
right.
most regularly.
Yeah. But you said there was eight? Yeah, eight screens you're gonna see, right?
Yes, I made
Yeah,
a
I
number
mean,
up. I'm not sure how many it actually
oh yeah,
was.
I was gonna
Oh,
say, but I was gonna
exactly.
say that's a lot, right? And then you think of all the details within, right, and how to cover that. And that's what
Oh,
I'm
no
saying. It's
question.
like
No
crazy,
question.
right? Anyway, that's all right. Any final thoughts, Coach? You got the mic. When it comes to coaching grade school basketball, it doesn't necessarily be about defense, but you got the floor. What do you want to share with coaches?
I was just doing my research before this podcast, and
Yeah.
I think your mission sums it up. Just try to positively impact. I think it's like 1 million kids before
Yeah.
2032 or something like that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what this is, man. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Just if you can if they can build a love for the game of basketball, it will pay back to them and to you tenfold. And so you are controlling the narrative to the kids and to the parents. They're going to be given the wrong information from a lot of different parts of our society, whether they're at a major AU tournament or someone's yelling at the refs or they're looking at the stats in the box scores in the NBA, how many points you score, how many points you score. As a coach, can you be that shining light to say, are you playing hard? Are you being a great teammate? And are you building a love for the game? And if you just fall back on those things, you'll also have a lot more fun as well. And so, I would leave us with that comment.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely 100%. I mean, that's why I changed my philosophy too, from not just a coach, I'm a teacher. And there's I I don't know how many times you've gone into practice saying, I don't want to go to practice today, right? Life got in the way during the day, the workload, whatever. And as soon as I step across that gym door, it all just goes away. I'm like, okay, here's my mission. This is why I'm here, right? Seeing those kids and like all the bad stuff goes away. And the next, hour and a half is focused on them and making them better people and better players. And That's what drives me as well. So I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you so much for your knowledge. This was amazing. We're going to check back in with you during the season, and love to see what's changed, what's stayed the same. And but yeah, I'll reach out to you if you don't mind jumping back on for a little recap on, this will be is this going to be your first, like, I know you were interim, but this is your first year coming up that you're officially the head coach, right?
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully we're not giving up 98 points a game come January.
I'm sure not, with your philosophy. You got that down in place already, and those kids will be fired up, ready to go. Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing work out there.
Thanks, Bill. You too, for sure.
All right.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.